Visayas and Mindanao?
So in Mindanao, we have one in Davao and one in CDO. In Metro Manila, I'd have to go to 26 would be the number that we have in Metro Manila, and then Cebu, you asked as well for Cebu? 9.
9.
Well, Visayas you would include Bacolod. We have sites in Bacolod as well. So
Just makes it all
we count them as one site in Bacolod, so we have 10 sites overall in Visayas.
All right. Thank you.
Jason. All right. Okay, for Jason.
I'm Jason of JC the Advocate. I've been in the industry for quite a while, and I saw that you have both law and politics background. So when I encounter a client, they would tell me that they're taking away the jobs from the Americans. So what can you say about that, taking away the job in expanding and law when it comes to the president favoring the other country?
Yeah, I mean, this is always a question that comes up, right? I think there's always a political sentiment in the U.S. that tries to sensitize this issue, right? Ultimately, when you look at the amount of people that is employed by the industry, right, in the country, and the amount of costs that quality of customer service and cost overall for all of those clients that we provide services to, obviously they would have to deliver a very high service or a more expensive service in the U.S. So although there's a tendency to think about jobs that way, I think the competitive landscape, and the need for companies to continue to outsource in order to be able to support their customer base. As a customer, it's not any different than any customers in the Philippines, right? You want the lowest price, the best quality. I don't think that changes anywhere you are in the world. So that continues to be a driver for the U.S. And we monitor obviously the temperament of the political, how sensitive the political environment becomes, but we don't necessarily see any great concerns to our growth, right? Because we continue to open sites and we continue to grow and we continue to bring people into the organization. So we see that as a minimal risk at this point based on our experience and based on the rhetoric and conversation that's occurred politically over many years of being here.
Okay. Anyone who still has a question?
Maybe last for me.
Okay, last for Lawrence.
Which city in the Philippines does Concentrix view as the next growth area for Concentrix?
Yeah, again, because of looking forward statements, we really can't comment on that. I would say, though, Laura shared quite a bit in terms of our programs. And the idea behind those programs are to create partnerships, but they're also to assess different markets as well. So although we won't commit to an answer today in terms of where we would go next, I think there's always opportunity to continue to build those relationships, find where the talent is, and then decide if we either bring to a local site or if we decide to do expansion and growth at that point. It'll be based on demand. It'll be based on the business climate, making sure we have the right infrastructure, transportation, all the things that are critical to our employees. We have to make sure that's provided in any area before we would go into and open a location. So
just to be clear, you'll be focusing on the 10 cities with the training areas?
No, not necessarily. It may not necessarily be that way, right? We could effectively have relationships and opportunities in those 10 markets without opening a site at any point, because we're either bringing them to an existing site that we may be in a location, right? If we went, like, for example, when we went to Pangasinan, we talked about Baguio, we talked about Clark, we even talked about, the multiple sites in Quezon City, in the north portion of Quezon City. So, it wasn't necessarily to go there and introduce we were going to do growth or expansion. It's really to understand what the market is and how we can support future markets that way as well. And I think socially we have an obligation to contribute to overall. So one of the things that Laura didn't necessarily mention in her programs is that there are times where we create these programs and people may decide to go work for someone else. They may decide not to work for Concentrix, right? But we feel it's an obligation that we have, right, to the market, and we've been able to provide so many jobs, but we've also gotten benefits from that, and we want to, give it back to, to our communities. and make sure that people have the opportunity no matter where they go and get the skills. I think the core principle is for people to get the skills first, and then obviously an opportunity for us to have them join us if they want to.
And if I may add, I will tell you this, wherever we go, and when we start to work with the local government or the academy, that partnership is long-term, and that partnership is really deep-rooted in the sense that we work even with the faculty, we do teacher training. I mean, we go out to the communities and we talk to the local communities about what it's like to be in the BPO, what gains can their children get, you know? So it is a commitment to really enable the Philippines, because we're all over the Philippines now, to lift them up and bring them with us as we grow as an organization, because there's a lot that we can offer in terms of opportunities.
Okay, RJ. RJ again.
What academic institutions are these? Can you name them?
I can name some of them for sure. So we have a lot of MOAs, for example, for FINMA education. That's not just one institution. We have PUP, we have Systems Plus. I mean, there's University of Pangasinan that we're starting our partnership with, among many others. We have also beginning partnerships with in the provincial sites. We have Our Lady of Fatima. I mean, there's a whole host. We have at least 26 schools that we have MOAs with. But the work that we do is not just for those schools. That's why we try and work with the Employment Services offices of the local government, because they can tie us up with multiple schools, multiple NGOs around them. We also, I should mention, work with NGOs like Humanity and Inclusion for impact sourcing, employment for our PWDs. So these are all the different programs that we have. So there's a lot.
How long does this training take?
So we have different programs depending on the learners that come through and the people that we screen. We have anywhere from 5 days to 15 days. So it's really, we want to make sure we put our learners in the right training, not just put them through training for the sake of it. Because as I said, we also give them allowance. We want to make sure that all of that is really worth it. So it's 5 to 15 days currently.
You mean for free, all these?
Yes, they come to us, we give them a daily allowance. When they complete, they pass, we give them a completion bonus as well.
Okay.